Hey everyone, I think a few people have joined in. We'll wait for a few minutes for others to join, and maybe then we can, get started. I hope I am audible to everyone. If you can hear me, like if you can just reply on the chat that my audio is all okay, then that would be great. I see a few thumbs up, so I guess the audio is all right. By the way, what I have planned for this session is essentially cover what we currently do in terms of all kinds of LinkedIn related enrichments on the platform. It will cover from the things like how we capture profiles of people, what kind of data comes in that, to we also capture the recent posts and comments of people. And some of this you might have seen, but we'll also keep on sharing some of the things that we feel might be very relevant for your use cases. Of course, you can explore the platform as well. If you don't have the access already, we are happy to share this after the call. Uh, in terms of a sneak peek, which I talked about in the latest message, I am also going to show a possible feature that is in testing right now, which is around, let me just keep it for the last, but it will actually help you to extract engagement related warm leads. And that should be really helpful. So yeah, we will take a look at that, enrichment as well. And we hopefully like that will be accessible to everyone on the platform in coming few days. Let's wait for another 1 or 2 minutes and then we can get started. And like my plan is to keep this as a discussion. This will in no way be a one-way session or call. Uh, I think you guys can either ask your questions. I think Adarsh from my team is also on the call. So he will probably take a look at the chats as well. And just like I'm happy to answer any and all the questions that come in during the session. And yeah, let's take it at that. We'll start with some basic stuff around the platform, around LinkedIn. And going on, like based on the questions, we can go in depth and talk about, some specific enrichments that are there around LinkedIn. And during the session, if you have any questions, just either reply in the chat or use this raise hand option, and we're happy to answer the questions. I think we can get started. Let me just also share the meeting link on the channel as well. Uh, so I'll share my screen now, and we'll go through all the stuff like that we have planned. Uh, okay. I hope the screen is visible. Let's get started. So I'll jump right to the workflow that I have. Yeah. So what I wanted to show, let me set a bit of context why we wanted to do this was that we have been working on the product for a while. We have done a lot of improvements. For example, in the recent few days also, you would have seen quite a lot of improvements if you have been using the product for a while. Uh, but we feel that there are a few things lined up in the pipeline through which we'll put out more product updates. This is one such way. We want to keep this conversation going wherein we talk about the product a bit, what we feel might be useful. Happy to answer any questions during this process. If you have anything, you can share it on the support channel. And we'll also try to have more of these sessions because there are some learnings that we get along building the process or talking with all the people looking at the GTM industry. And we want to share that. So that is one of the reasons to do this. So yeah, let me just jump right in into this. Some of the enrichments that are possible. So, like for example, I have started with a very basic list of people that I have found out using Bitscale itself. So I've got their basic details, names, titles, LinkedIn URLs. Now the second questions mostly after that is that if you are trying to do a reach out to them, either on LinkedIn, emails, or calls, you might not be sure of the context or like if they are a right fit or not. One of the ways to do is that of course you do that ICP filtering. You find out if they're live in your relevant industry or not. But if they don't, and if they do, like if, for example, these are all the ICP leads that I have done a very basic filtering of these people. They are from the SaaS industry, essentially like senior level folks. Now, I want to find out a bit more information about them looking at their LinkedIn profile and LinkedIn activity. Moving to the right, I've used very basic three columns, and this is like what I am sure, like if you have walked around the platform, you have seen these three as well. Essentially enriching their profile, getting their recent posts, and getting their recent comments that they have made on LinkedIn. And all of this and more enrichments are usually possible through, this enrichment button here. You can actually search for all the relevant enrichments that are here, but a basic way to do it is, search for the kind of tool or the kind of platform from which you want the enrichment. So for example, searching for LinkedIn gives me these three options, which are getting their profile info, getting their recent post, and getting their recent comments. And this is what I have used. So this is the enrichments that I did. And essentially, like if I go to the profile info of one of these people, this can be very helpful for you. For example, let me just take a very basic example, which is that suppose if you are looking to sell a software to people who use HubSpot, right? One way of doing that is, using our built with, you can find out their tech stack, you can filter out those people. But sometimes that might not be updated. One great way of looking at that is that some people put it in their skill section as well. So we actually, in this enrichment, we fetch you and give you different kinds of things here. For example, if you're trying to reach out to influencers or people who have a voice on LinkedIn, for example, you want to collab with them or you want to sell something to them, this follower count can be very helpful. In similar way, if you are, let me just go to the skill section to continue my point on skills. These are all the different skills also that you get access to. For example, you can filter out on these as well. Like, for example, if some person has put in a filter around dev tools, like a specific dev tool, and you are a product that sits on top of that, then you can filter out those people who have a skill set around that, and you can do a reach out to them. That is like one of the ways of using these profile enrichments. Another way I think, which I found really interesting, was that sometimes people give a description about their company in the about section. For example, they can tell a bit about what they are doing, what their company does. For example, in this case, this person has talked about what is their experience, where they have worked at. So this might also be very relevant in any icebreaker or any reach outs that you are doing to them. If you find anything interesting that might be relevant to your offering, or just in terms of establishing a connect, these data points might be very helpful. Similarly, if I come to recent posts and recent comments, we have done this change very recently, wherein we have arranged them first of all in, based on their dates, that you will get the most recent post first, and in the similar way, you'll get rest of these posts. And getting just the post is one thing, but you also get all the other information around those posts. For example, how many reshares they have, how many likes they have, how many comments these posts have. And these are very relevant things in order to, for example, let me take an example of, for us, for instance, that Bitscale is a product that helps RevOps teams scale their GTM or create GTM workflows. So if I'm trying to find out, people based on their intent on LinkedIn, I would like to take a look at, what are the kinds of posts that they are making. And, because a lot of GTM folks do a lot of social selling. So I would like to filter out those people who are showing intent or talking about those posts, those kinds of tools, those kinds of GTM processes, because they can be a good fit for me. So in a way, like I would do a filtering on their post text. I would find out the key pointers that are being talked there. I would also take a look at, how many likes or post reshares they are getting, because that might also be relevant for me in order to know that, what kind of posts are working out for them. Because if, like, for example, if there is a GTM person who talked about certain workflow that they implemented and it went viral for them, there are two things that I can do with it. I can, it means that they got interested because like they did 10 types of posts. A post that talked about GTM got high volume for them. So they are actually thinking about that at this point. So they might be good people for me. Their timing might be right for me to reach out to them because that might be at the top of their mind. So like that is like some of the nuanced things that you can, using these post and post related data that you can do. Of course, like the some of the things that I said, which was some metadata around these posts, you get them as well. And there are multiple ways of, making use of this. Uh, all depends on your creativity. Of course, like I'll show you some templates as well that I have added here. And these are basic templates, Some of them are already present on our platform. So for example, moving to the right, what I have done is I've used three chat GPT based templates that essentially use LinkedIn profile, they use LinkedIn posts, and they use LinkedIn comments of these people to find out a thing that is very interesting about them. I have also given a bit of context about like what kind of icebreaker I would want to create based on them. What is the format that I should follow? And this is something that you would usually do on a chat GPT if you're like a very power user of AI related tools. You would like at this point of time, we also do it a lot, wherein like if you have not set up a workflow on Bitscale, we do a lot of, back and forth with a model like ChatGPT. You feed all the information around a person or a company to a ChatGPT and you try to optimize a prompt. But once I have this prompt prepared, I just come here, paste all of that prompt. I do a few taggings. For example, I give a bit of context of what the name of the person is. I give the context on what is the profile info based on which you need to create a icebreaker. But once that is done, you know, uh, I get a lot like a very dynamic and very personalized icebreakers for each of these people. And right now what I've done is I've created very basic icebreakers here given just one input. In this case, profile, this case, post, and this case, comments. We could have created a multi-step process here as well, as you can imagine. For example, I could have picked out the most relevant post from here, most relevant comment from here, and most relevant profile info from here, and combined all these three into a icebreaker as well. That was also possible. Of course, like going forward as well, we'll communicate more and more templates that we add onto the platform. For example, any of those templates, like for example, the three templates that I showed around Icebreaker, all of them are accessible through this template section. So if I just go to it and I'll just show the Icebreaker related templates as well. So they are actually the templates that are live right now. You can access them as well. You can make changes to the prompts, but that is a good place to start. If you don't know how to write, like, how to get started with using some of these enrichments, you can search in the templates and make use of them. Uh, so yeah, this was like the basic of workflow of how you can use some of the information around LinkedIn that I wanted to show that is already present on the platform. If anyone has any question or wanted to ask or wanted to talk in depth about some topic, I'm happy to do that around this. So yeah, I will now stop talking. We'll wait for a few seconds and few minutes. If you have any questions, we are happy to take that. After this, I'll also show a sneak peek into a new engagement related tooling that we are going to add. because that has actually worked great for us. We actually ran some of our own campaigns around that, and that has given like results that are out of the world. I think I'll show some of that, and we are going to make it live for all the people. So, would love to take any questions. I will reshare the screen after this and give a sneak peek to that. So, others, did we have any chats or any raise of hands?
No, not right now. Guys, if you have any questions, no, you can also share them on the community channel available on Slack. We are monitoring that as well. If you're unable to like message on the in-call messages, no worries.
I think Mukund has something to say. Uh, I think Mukund, you can put it in the chat window as well. Like I hope the chat window is accessible to everyone.
No, no, no.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think to the viewers, the chat window won't be accessible. I think it's only accessible to the contributors.
Okay, okay, got it. Yeah, Mukund, you raised your hand. I had a
Sorry,
question.
yes. I mean, I just want to ask, are those recent posts, uh, I mean, ordered based on the, I mean, like recently posted, the item 1, 2, 3, is it like ordered based on how recently they posted it?
Yes, yes. Like, and as I showed, for example, we also give the dates and they are ordered in that way, and they are the recent posts of the people. The most recent post being at the top and order being like that one itself.
Got it, got it.
Yep,
So
yep.
I think this, see, I'm pretty sure you guys have heard of this tool called Trigify. So how do you think this can compete with that? Like, is it even relevant in terms of how it can compete with that?
Yeah, yeah. I think, Trigify is something that just focuses on LinkedIn related posts. I think the beauty of a platform like Bitscale is that you can actually combine these various intent signals with other signals as well. For
Got it.
example, like, you have tools like Linkscaper, Google Search, Perplexity integrated. You have third-party data providers as well. So, those things combined along with this actually give you a whole enrichment picture or actually give you the entire intent that you are looking for. Because sometimes it might not be present at a single source, which in this case is linked.
Makes sense. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Got it. Got it. Makes sense. Any other questions from anyone? Happy to pick them up as well. Okay, okay, got it. So I think let me then jump to a very interesting thing that I wanted to show and talk about, which was around like suppose if you are tracking a few like, and there are two use cases around that. Suppose if you are doing you are doing a lot of ABM, you have a list of 100 people, 200 people that you are trying to approach, or if you're doing a lot of competitor research, you have a list of your competitors, their AEs, or their people that you are keeping a track on, like what are the kinds of people or companies that they are interacting with, what are the kind of posts that they are interacting with. And based on that, you do not just want a list of cold leads, you want a list of warm leads. Because if your ABM at any point shows any interest in one of the posts, they like a post, react to a post, or do something like that. Or if one of your competitor is actually, trying to sell to a customer, usually the process is they go and, interact with their post, comment on their post. Or if you are also following or actually, targeting some of the creators in your space. For example, if you sell a dev tool, and there are a few creators on LinkedIn that usually talk about that, and most of the people that would be interested in that tool or are following that creator, they would like or comment or interact on those posts. So that can be a great place for you to actually fetch warm leads from there. So I think that is the idea, or that is the place from where we started, and we have worked out on a tool that will actually help you to fetch all the people that reacted on a post, commented on a post, push all of them to Bitscale, and then do the rest of the process, which is qualification, and use the bunch of different enrichments that we have, qualify them based on their company, based on their profile, and do that, contact enrichment, set up a campaign and reach out to them. So that is like one feature that we have in pipeline, how to get those warm leads. Let me just share my screen for a while, and I will just give a sneak peek of that, like how that works. So So actually, like, this is a bit of a multi-step process that is going to happen. For example, I hope the screen is visible. So what essentially I've done is my co-founder Sanket Goel, I have taken his LinkedIn profile. I want to track, what are the kind of posts that he's doing and who are the people that are interacting with it, either liking or commenting on it. Because if we are doing a lot of social selling, we would want to keep a track on those people, see like who are the people that are interacting with those posts. That can be a good like warm signal for us to qualify and reach out to them. So this is Sanket. I have got all his recent posts. Finally, what I have done is I have actually sent them as separate rows. So for example, these were 20 different posts. I want to do my analysis, find out the likes and comments on all these. So I have shared them in a different grid, and that is where it has been pushed. So if I go to this second grid and move to the left, you will see that I have got all those, different posts as separate rows. So for example, if I just look at one of these, you will see that I've got the original post and all the other information around that, the number of comments, number of likes. And now what I will do is there is this custom tool that we have built, which will find the comments, like who are the people and what is the comment that has been made, who are the people who have reacted on it. And then I'm finally sending it as separate rows into a third grid. So let me just go to that third grid. And this is, we are trying to simplify this process as well. But the reason for this being multi-step is you would want to qualify it at those steps. For example, you might not want to look at some of the reactions of some posts. So you might want to remove those posts. You might not want to, look at comments of some posts or just reactions of some posts. So in the second grid, you would want to remove that. And finally, when you get the list of all these people, so for example, I've got 154 people here who reacted with Sanket's post. And for all of these people, for example, if I just click on it, I see like, what was the comment? For example, this was a comment related warm lead that I got. So this was the comment that was made. I will also get the commenter information, who was the person who commented on this post. And then finally, what I'm doing is I'm getting all that information in separate columns. So you will see that starting from a person's profile, which in this case was my co-founder, but it could have been one of my prospects, one of the sales space influencers, or it could have been one of my competitors. I could start from that place and to this place wherein I've got a set of very warm leads who have interacted with a relevant post that that person has made. Now, I have not set up the entire workflow here, but essentially what I can do is now enrich their profile, get all their profile related information, and then I can do a classification as well, like, qualify them, score them based on their intent. For example, I will just do like, one qualification here, which can be that, based on their company website, for example, or based on their profile, I would like to qualify them. So let me go to their enriched profile. I will like to take a look at their experience, and based on that, I will like to, filter them out. So for example, this is their latest experience at GrowthX, and I want to make use of their, uh, job title, for example, that, if they are relating to RevOps or growth, then only I want to reach out to them. So I will add this as a separate column. We'll wait for a few seconds. Yeah, so I've got, these title section. Now what I can do is I will just look out for only growth people here. So I can actually create a formula or a chat GPT column, but just looking at it, I can see that, only the first row, for example, is something that is relevant to me. Of course, I can do a lot more detailed analysis around that, lot more detailed qualification. But this is how, finally I can fetch a set of good leads for me. and the rest of the steps start. For example, I can enrich their emails, enrich their phone numbers, do cold calling, add them to separate campaigns. I can add an email campaign on them, cold calling campaign on them, or I can just add them to my HubSpot as well, so that I can nurture them further by sending them some material, adding them to some email marketing, or do some kind of EBM as well, wherein I try to, reach out to them, reach out to other people in that company. So I can start or kickstart all those different campaigns just from some of the warm leads that I fetch from. So yeah, that's like the new feature that we are going to bring in. This will come as an entire workflow. For example, you will not need to set this up. This will come as an entire playbook in itself. You can use it as is. And we have actually implemented it for some of our current users of the platform. And that is a place from where we got an idea for it as well. This is something that we were using earlier as well. And we thought, why not make it public for the people to use on our platform. So yeah, that's like just a sneak peek into a new feature coming in. Hopefully all of you will have access to it in a few days. So yeah, looking forward to it. Any questions, I'm happy to answer on this as well. I'll come back to the screen. Stop sharing. Yeah, so I think I've spoken a lot in this session, but would love to have any questions at the end. What we have planned for this around these kinds of sessions is that we would source in the topics on which people want to talk. For example, if you want to talk about, how to increase the connect rates of your cold calls, or how to better, write prompts to, do better link scraping, or how to use all these different data providers better. So I think all these different things, we will talk about it. Of course, we'll post about it before that into the community, so that you can bring in your opinion that, this is the topic that I want to be talked about, because we feel that we see a lot of things happening in GTM space up close, and there is a lot that we can share with the community. There are a few ways. One of that is, getting on a call. I think we will try to optimize it better, make it more like a round table. But yeah, that's all. Like, any questions, I'm happy to take it up. You can just raise your hand and I will add you, and you can talk about it directly or post it in the community as well. One thing we'll also do is actually we'll share the recording and notes from this call in the community. So yeah, that will be also there for your reference to refer to. But yeah, any questions, I'm happy to take it up. You can reach out to us after this call in DMs as well, or on the support channel as well. I guess we don't have any questions. So I think that's it from our side as well. Thanks for joining in to all. Yeah, let's keep in touch and let's keep this going in any way or form, either calls or sessions or recorded async videos. But we would want to share more. There are few things that are lined up from our end to keep that, sharing more public workflows with you. But yeah, thanks for joining in. I think that's it from our side. Bye bye, everyone.